Hello and welcome to the In Focus series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be discussing about the goods and services tax. As the goods and services tax, that is the GST, this is how it is popularly known. So GST has completed 7 years. So we will be knowing everything about the GST. So first of all, about the points of discussion, first we'll be looking at the news, then what is GST, about the GST Council, how the voting takes place within the GST Council, what are the challenges faced by the GST, what are the reforms that GST has brought with itself, and in the end a prelims practice question which will be a PYQ. Topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 3, that is Economy, Taxation. Let's begin. 7 years of GST, average monthly mop-up surged by 87% despite certain challenges. So if we talk about the taxation system, so every single country whose economy, so the backbone of the economy is how the taxation system of that country runs. And if we talk about, then earlier we used to have direct tax, indirect tax, and there are many other taxes also. But if we talk about the indirect taxes, so direct and indirect taxes are basically, direct taxes are directly paid by the individual to the government, like for example income tax or corporation tax. And then if we talk about the indirect tax, so there were many different indirect taxes which were paid to the government differently. So every single indirect tax was paid to the government in a different and in a separate manner earlier. Like for example, there was excise duty, there was service tax, then there was VAT, which is the value added tax, and many more. But now a need was felt that one nation, one taxation concept should be followed. But that concept needed all the tax, all the indirect tax to come together. So one nation, one taxation, the slogan of one nation, one taxation, under it, so all the indirect taxes were subsumed into one tax, and that one tax became the GST, which is the goods and services tax. As the name itself is telling, that this tax is not only about goods, it is goods and services. So both goods and services are included in it. So it is goods and services tax. So it is basically, it subsumes all the indirect tax which were earlier paid differently and separately, but now are being paid together under an umbrella term, and that umbrella term is referred to as the goods and services tax. So let's see. So goods and services tax, which came into effect in the year 2017 by the 101, that is the 101st amendment to the Indian Constitution. So important point, star point, 101st amendment. And we must also know that what was the 100th amendment? It was the boundary between the India and the Bangladesh. And then the GST is imposed on both manufacturers and sellers of goods and as well as suppliers of services, because it is known as the value added tax or the destination tax. It means that the person who is in the end using the products, that person needs to pay the tax, and the tax can be paid on every single level. Like for example, if some product is manufactured at first stage, then the GST will be paid on it, and then if the product goes on for some value addition, that is the second stage, then again GST will be paid on it, and then in the end if the product goes into the market, and that will be the third step, then again GST will be paid on it. So it means value added tax or destination based tax. It means the person, the end user is who is paying the tax, and value added for every single value that is added to it, added to the product, then the tax would be paid at that different levels. So as I told you, it is an indirect tax. All the indirect tax have come together, and they are grouped into one single uniform law, and that is the GST. And it is levied on most goods and services sold for domestic consumption, and there are different tax slabs within the GST, like for example there is 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. If we talk about the 0% tax slab, so 0% tax slab is basically about the essential items, our basic daily needs items, like for education, like what we eat, wheat, rice. Then comes the 5% slab. 5% slab includes our daily products like you can say the coffee, tea. Then comes the 12% slab, then 18% slab, and then 28% slab. So 28% slab is about the luxury items, like for example high-end electronic items or automobiles or entertainment like movies. Then there is 18% and then there is 12%. 18% is like for example clothes. So these are different type of slabs. Then comes the GST Council, that is the Goods and Services Council. So when Goods and Services tax was made and was implemented also, a need was felt to make a council also, because who will look into that how the GST will work, what are the changes that GST needs from time to time, if any kind of change was needed in the tax slab, and anything with regard to the working of the GST. So with regard to the working of the GST, a GST Council was also formed, and that GST Council was brought by the Constitutional 122nd Amendment Bill and the 101 Amendment Act, and it made recommendations to the Union and the states on important issues related to the GST. As we all know, because Union comes under, see, their GST has three components, that is CGST, that is the Union GST or the Central GST, then there is SGST, which is the State GST, and then there is IGST, which is the Integrated GST. There is also GST for the Union Territory. CGST goes to the Central, that is the center. So the SGST, which is the State GST, it goes to the state, and then comes the Integrated GST. So it basically is between the center and the state when any kind of movement takes place, and it is handled by the center. So this is how the taxation system between the center and the state is divided. So to make recommendation to the Union and the states on important issues related to the GST, so GST Council looks into it, and then with regard to simplifying the existing tax structure in India. So this is the ultimate aim of the GST, that is the tax structure in India must be simplified and must become easy to understand. Then it is the President of India who sets up the GST Council, and it is a joint forum of the center and the state under the Article 279A of the amended Constitution. So the article is 279A of the Constitution. If we talk about the members of the GST Council, then the chairperson of the GST Council is the Union Finance Minister. Then there is Union Minister of State Finance from the center. Then each state can nominate a minister in charge of finance or taxation, or any other minister as a member of finance and taxation. So within the GST Council, the center and the states both have representation. Now if we talk about how the voting takes place within the GST Council, so within the voting also the center and the state both have equal representation, or you can say both have representation. So the central government has 1/3 of the total votes, state government has 2/3 of the total votes, and center 1/3, state 2/3, and the total overall decision making majority of not less than 3/4 of the vegeted votes of the members present and voting, and that is 3/4 of the weights. Central 1/3, state 2/3, overall decision 3/4. Now reforms by the GST. So what all are the reforms which GST has brought with itself? So creation of common national market. So GST came under the slogan of one nation, one taxation, and that taxation will simplify the taxation process of India and will also make things easy to understand for the people. So creation of common national market. So it created one one tax structure for India, and that tax structure is integrated because both the center and the state has a role to play under it. Then reduction in tax burden, because the problem of mitigation of double taxation. So the cascading effect of taxation, like for example, before the GST, there were different indirect taxes, like for example, VAT was there, service tax was there, excise duty was there. So what used to happen, that the person has to pay these taxes at different places and separately. So with this regard, the double taxation problem was coming, that a person is paying tax at double. It means that once he or she is paying, then again he or she is paying. So that was becoming a problem, and that is what is also called the cascading effect of taxation. So that burden of double taxation has been reduced by the GST. Then subsumed indirect taxes like the excise duty, value added tax, service tax, luxury tax, etc. into a single tax. Then GST is easier to administer, even though in the starting, in the implementation process, certain problems came up, and that happens in almost everything. If something new is being implemented, and India being such a large country, if anything new is being implemented on such large scale, then it needs time. There will be certain challenges which needs to be faced, and nowadays the most severe challenge which anything is facing on a digital platform is the cyber crime. So that is also an upcoming challenge which every country is facing. So GST also had certain kind of implementation challenges in the starting, but overall it will make the system, or it will make the process easier. Then streamline taxation, because under one tax all other taxation is subsumed, so it will streamline the process, it will make process easy and efficient also. Then increased revenue collection, this has been a very big win for the government in this sense, you can say, because when the GST started, the collection was around 7 lakh crore rupees or 8 lakh crore rupees, and recently if you will see, then the collection has crossed over rupees 20 lakh crores. So that is a big hike, you can say. So that is a big improvement and a very big win for the GST. Then what are the challenges of the GST? So the SGST and the CGST input credit cannot be cross utilized. SGST is state GST, CGST is central GST. So the revenue of the central GST will go to the center, while the revenue of the state GST will go to the state, and both cannot use each other revenue. And there is one more problem, and one of the biggest problem which is coming up as of now is that the states who are very good in manufacturing, so the problem which is coming up is that they are contributing more to what they are giving to the state, and as a result what they are getting back is a lesser amount. It means they are giving more and they are getting less. And specifically this is one of the reasons and one of the problems also which was raised by the southern states, like for example Karnataka, like for example Andhra, like for example Kerala. And this was also a problem which was raised recently also by these states. Then manufacturing state lose revenue on a bigger scale because what they are contributing is not what they are getting it back. Then reduction in the fiscal autonomy of the state. So fiscal autonomy of a state is what has come down, and this is also a problem which the states are raising, and states are also asking for additional amount or grants so that the loss which they have to bear, they can compensate for it. Then states who contribute more receives less. As I just told you, combating tax fraud remained a priority. So with coming up of the GST, the problem of tax evasion and tax fraud has lessened, but to completely eradicate this problem from the economy, that is the Indian economy, which is so huge, will take time. But the problem of tax evasion and the problem of tax fraud is coming down with the GST, and one of the reasons is that GST is also on a digital platform. So that is also a big positive, because it will streamline the process, and also it will bring more transparency in the process, because people can file it digitally, and that will reduce the paperwork which comes in between. So this was about the GST. So we knew about the GST, we knew about the GST Council, then how the voting takes place, what are the reforms brought by the GST, and then what are the challenges with regard to the GST. Now in the end, a prelims MCQ, and I must tell you that GST has been asked in prelims in the year 2017, and this is the question, and has also been asked in the mains examination. So knowing about the GST, because GST is certainly like a revolution in the Indian taxation system, becomes very, very important for you, and to specifically you must be knowing about the GST Council. So in the end of prelims MCQ, and you people will give me the answer in the comment section. The question says, what is or are the most likely advantages? Is most likely the advantages of implementing goods and services tax. This is a PYQ of the year 2017. There are 3 statements given. First, it will replace multiple taxes collected by multiple authorities and will thus create a single market in India. We have discussed this point. Second, it will drastically reduce the current account deficit of India and will enable it to increase its foreign exchange reserves. Third, it will enormously increase the growth and size of the economy of India and will enable it to overtake China in the near future. Be very clear with the language of the points, because language is what you have to focus on. You will have to give me the correct answer, and the codes are 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So give me the answer in the comment section, and that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.